If you travel alone in a camper van, there are things you can do to stay safe at night. I'm going to share them with you right now. So why am I doing this video? Well, my last video was about what it's really like to be in your van in the evenings or at night. And I spent a lot of time showing people around, showing people what it looked like, where all the nighttime stuff was. And a while ago, I actually did a video on how to be safe when you are a solo van lifer. But that really talked about daytime safety. And that's what most of the videos that I see are talking about too. And daytime safety and nighttime safety is really different because you can see what's coming at you in the daytime. But at nighttime, you're either relaxing and watching a movie, or you're working on your computer, or you're reading a book, or you're sleeping. And you are not paying attention to what's going on out there. And by the time you realize there's a problem, there'll be somebody right on the other side of that window. I think you need to think about what you would do if that happened. And that will make you not just feel safer, but it will make you actually safer. Number one, I need to work on, clearly, because you can see my van right behind me, and I pulled in forward. And what I'm going to suggest is if you want to be safe at night, and you're by yourself in particular, you should back into your spot. Now, I don't do this normally, but I need to start. Because if somebody comes pounding on your rig at night, or you hear a lot of noise outside and you hear fighting, or you hear anything that makes you nervous, I don't have to turn on my engine and then start backing up carefully using my backup camera in the dark, which is really hard, to make sure I don't hit anything, and do sometimes a 3, 4, 5 point turn to get myself out of where I'm at. That's really not smart. I want to be able just to pull forward. So I either should have backed into this spot, or I should have pulled in parallel to several spots with a clear space in front of me so I could just pull straight ahead and take off. I'm going to start doing that. What do you think? Do you back in or do you pull in forward? I think that you should look relatively stealth on the outside, meaning it's not really obvious that you're in there sleeping. Criminals target people that are not paying attention or not aware. And guess what? When you're sleeping, you are more vulnerable than if somebody is up and paying attention. So it's obvious that there are people sleeping in the big camper vans, the travel trailers, the Class A's. With a van like this, they probably won't notice the awning, which is really the big giveaway that this is an RV and there's somebody sleeping inside. I lock it up just like I'm ready to leave. And I also close all of the shades and blinds on the outside. That also means that I keep the lights inside really dim in the evening, because I want to make sure that even if there's a little crack at the edge of the blind or the window shade or the window covering, that it's not really obvious that there's somebody inside watching a movie or on their computer. And having your lights blaring and being able to see them from outside is a big one. I don't want somebody to know I'm in there. If they can figure it out based on where you're parked, so be it. But I don't really want to go and advertise that I'm in there and I'm a sitting duck because I'm asleep and I'm not paying attention to what's going on around me. So this is a perfect example. I'm standing on the other side right now. I have a light on right now over the kitchen sink, and I have not done a good job of making sure every little crack is covered by the window coverings. And I don't normally leave that light on anyway. So once I head back inside, I'm gonna turn that light off so people can't see any lights from the inside. Another thing that I feel like makes me more stealth is that I don't put those window coverings into the windows. I think it makes it pretty obvious somebody's in there. What I do is I pull a curtain right behind the cab seats, so when you look in, it is just a dark interior, and you can see exactly what you would expect inside the front window of a vehicle. A driver's seat, a passenger seat, and then just kind of a dark, empty background, because the curtains aren't going to be obvious that there's curtains there. It'll just look dark. Now, that's not what you're seeing right now, because I haven't set the curtains up, because I decided to film this video right after I took the dogs for their last outing, and I haven't set it up for the night yet, but you'll see what I mean when I go inside in just a second. Well, I'm back inside the van so we can finish talking with me safe and sound inside my sealed up van. But I just wanted to show you those curtains that I was talking about. I do still have that light on I was talking about, and I will turn that off as soon as I'm finished with this, because I don't need that bright light, and honestly probably is allowing a little bit of light visible outside, and I would rather not have that. So this is the view if somebody looks in. It's just the cab. They're not going to really be able to see much because it's going to be dark, and they're just going to think it's an empty vehicle, most likely. This might seem obvious, but I've been known to forget. So maybe you do too. I don't always remember to make sure the vehicle is all locked up before I settle in for the night. Now, I'm pretty sure that my locks automatically lock after a certain period of time, but I'm not 100% sure. So grab your keys, lock the thing, and then put them in reach in the same spot every single night, right by your bed, so that you remember where they are when you wake up and you're disoriented and you're nervous. I actually set them up hanging from these little things that are under my cabinets that kind of hold my glasses at night. That's on the other bed, not the one I sleep in. And it's just hanging right there. There's absolutely no way I could open my eyes and sit up and not see that. So if something happened and I needed to climb into the driver's seat and get out of here, the keys are right in front of me, and I'm not going to be nervous and anxious and completely forget where they are. And I will tell you that I didn't have them in that spot last night, and I woke up in the morning and I could not remember where I had put the keys when I was ready to leave, and I searched the whole van. I can only imagine what would happen if I woke up terrified. I don't want to experience that. I don't want to discover what that's like. So from now on, I'm going to stay safe, and I've got those keys right where I see them when I get up. I think you need to consider the type of rig you drive if you really want to make sure that you are in a position to take off and leave at a moment's notice. To me, that means a motorized vehicle. I understand everybody doesn't feel that need, but it's certainly going to be the best way to be able to hop into a seat and drive away. But that also means that you are not using blocks to level yourself. You do not have yourself plugged in to electricity and water and sewer. And while in a campground, I would feel completely fine doing that. Or even at a Love's station, I would feel fine doing that. Or personally, at a harvest house where I've been invited to stay on somebody's private property, I would feel fine being hooked up. But if I was in a place that was maybe in a sketchier neighborhood, in my opinion, or just felt a little weird, and yes, I had the opportunity to be plugged in, I might even consider unplugging for the night, because I could always plug back in the morning. I don't need all of that overnight. But if for some reason something happened and I needed to get out of there fast, I wouldn't be attached to an electric pole or water or sewer. I get it. It's an inconvenience. And you might not feel like that's important. You might feel like you feel safe enough and you're good to go. But if you are somebody that feels like you are going to feel unsafe, or you have had experiences that have made you feel unsafe. I just watched a video yesterday about a young woman who turned on the camera and was talking to the camera in whispers right after she heard a pounding on her van, and she was terrified. And I think she was talking to the viewers as a way to calm herself down. And it all turned out fine, but she was really scared. And that's actually why I started thinking about this video. If you have had an experience, or you just are kind of somebody that gets nervous easily, you do everything you need to do to feel safe, even if it means it's an inconvenience the next morning because you have to re-plug in your water and re-plug in your electric and all that stuff. Another way that I keep safe is I am very aware of my neighbors, meaning I'm in Cracker Barrel's parking lot tonight, and I know exactly where the other rigs are parked. Last night, when I pulled into a different Cracker Barrel, I was number 12, meaning, yes, there were 11 camper vans or RVs already in the lot. I was number 12. And honestly, that makes me feel safe, because I know that if something is going on and there is a ruckus outside, other people are going to be hearing it too. Will they be able to help? I don't know. But what I've been thinking about since I watched that video of that woman that was really, really scared was, if I am in a populated area, like a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart parking lot or a truck stop or a rest stop or any place else where there are other people in their vehicles, I think what I would do if I heard noises is I would get to that front as fast as I could, and I would hit that horn, and I would start honking my horn and making as much noise as I possibly could, hoping that that would scare people away. And if it didn't, to at least get all of the other people that are in the parking lot, that are in their rigs, looking out and stepping outside saying, what's going on? And even if the person ran away, I think having people that knew what had happened and I felt like were aware of my situation, that I was by myself and I was scared, I think it would make me feel better going back to sleep. So be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of if there is anybody in the lot or a bunch of other RVers or people in their cars, that if you think you started honking, that it would get a bunch of people looking out their doors and at their windows and at least coming over to say, what the hell are you doing? Get off your horn. It's the middle of the night. If there aren't other vehicles there, then you can bet that I'm going to make sure I am in a position to pull forward and drive away. I'm not on blocks, and I'm not on any of those other things that maybe I would have just let it go if I feel like I'm in a really safe place. If I'm by myself in an area, I want to be ready to go, just in case. And I'm not paranoid. I'm not a nervous person. I'm not fearful. But I have been a victim of crime. I have been hiding in a closet in my bedroom while I heard people walking around my first floor at 3 o'clock in the morning after throwing a brick through a glass door to get in. I don't want to be in that situation again. And so I am thinking about it in advance. And that's what I think makes you safe. I think it's a really good idea to make sure somebody knows where you are and to make sure that you have something set up on your phone that you could do location sharing and notify them in an emergency. I know there are some apps. I have not looked into it enough, so I don't know. So I don't have anyone to suggest to you. But I know that there was one I looked into before, and I can't remember what it was, but it allowed for you to have a couple of emergency people, and if you like pushed that button, then it would send a notification to those 3 people. And I think it's something that's important, and it's something that I need to start doing. So I did have a friend that for a while I was letting her know where I was parked for the night. But candidly, I don't know how much that would have helped, because I would say in the morning, I would reach out to her by text in the morning and say, had a great night, I'm off for the day. And then at nighttime, I'd say, okay, I'm all parked. But that's a pretty long gap for something bad to happen when she wouldn't have any idea and honestly wouldn't be able to tell the police where I was, other than where I was last night. So I'm thinking that I need to get some kind of an app that does this and have a couple of people that are aware that I put them down as my emergency, call the police if you get this kind of a notification. So if you use something like that or are aware of something like that, share it in the comments below, because I would love to find a really good one that I can use as my safety net in case there is a situation that gets scary and I'm not in a position to pull out, or I'm not feeling like I feel safe crawling up to the front and making my face known to the world on the other side of those curtains. Because the whole point is not just to feel safe, but to be safe. And especially at night, it's really important. During the daytime, we can see what's coming at us. But at night, it's important. Jasmine. Say goodnight, Jasmine. Say goodnight, Josie. See you next week.